Hey CDA, and welcome back to Incremental Week. This time around I am going to be looking at Journey to Incrementalia, which, well, as the name kind of suggests, is another incremental game, of course, but this time around it does things slightly different from the games that I've been showing you so far. The best way to show you this is just to start playing, and we have Bonesley, our head skeleton, talking to us. We are the chosen one who will lead us to Incrementalia, yes! I aided in your restoration using my feeble magic, yes, and all I ask is a place at your side. Confusion after reincarnation is common, your grace, allow me to reacquaint you. This is your mana orb, where you keep your mana. Mana is like fuel for spells. This is this thing over here, apparently. You can click or hold down the orb to ponder it for extra mana. So holding it is a lot better than spamming it with a lot of clicks, so that is quite awesome. Okay, holding on the orb triggers mana amplification too many times and it cracks. Okay, so we do need to make sure we don't overdo it. These are your spells, your grace, and they can do all kinds of magical things. So we are able to summon things, cast all kinds of different spells, upgrade them, and so on. And the goal here is to break through 99 of these walls in order to actually get to the fabled Incrementalia. So we're just battling a giant HP bar, basically. But the whole mechanic behind that is kind of fun. Anyway, back to the tutorial. Summon spells require souls. Enchain a soul to your will using mana. So we can do that. It costs 20 mana. We have quite a bit of that, so we can actually get a little bit more. And then we have some souls. Now summon a skeleton to attack the wall, just like me, but far less wise and loyal, your grace. Okay, so we just unlocked the skeleton over here. It costs 1 soul, 10 mana. I actually need a little bit more mana for that. And then I can summon myself a skeleton. Look at that. There's our little skeleton and it's going to go and slap the wall, I assume. Yeah, there we go. It's chipping away at the first wall, which obviously is not very impressive at all. Keep boosting your mana and damage to break through all 99 walls. Incrementalia, here we come. Oh yeah, skill points. You can get them from breaking down the walls. Good for upgrades. I think you got the gist, your grace. I'll be here if you need me. Your ever faithful servant, Bonesley. So, yeah, basically what we want to do is, first of all, get some more mana and get some more skeletons, I believe. I don't think there's any downside to having even more of those. It does become increasingly expensive, so this is where the focus comes in, I guess. Casting your focus increases your mana regeneration per second. So if we just cast this a couple of times, we actually gain mana passively. Oh, there we go. We just cracked our orb. That's probably a bad thing that we don't want to overdo. Why is the bar going? Oh, that was just me spending my mana. I was just wondering, like, why are we losing mana there? But we are now gaining 11 mana per second already, which should allow us to get quite a few more souls, quite a few more skeletons, and I don't think this first wall is going to last for very long. However, more importantly, was this mana amplification. Oh, that's actually just a boost to our mana multiplier. Okay, anyway, we have a skill point. Let's see what that gets us. So we can buff our skeletons. We can get the Goblin Archer Summer spell that shoots poison arrows that make the wall unwell. Well, this wall is very unwell already, but I think with the next wall will probably be a little bit more of a challenge. This one has 2,000 hit points. Actually, it's going down pretty quickly already. But anyway, what else do we have? We can buff Focus. That gives us more mana. That actually doesn't sound like a bad idea. And those are the only things we can currently unlock. So yeah, let's just get some more mana first, so we can get that. We actually have more points already. So yeah, we are getting a bit of mana. Maybe let's get some archers in here as well. So now we have that unlocked. We can actually reset our skills as well. That's interesting. But for now, let's get some more souls. And then let's go and summon some of those. We do need more mana for that. Look, now we have archers and skeletons. I'm actually wondering, I don't know, is this wall going to fight back? I don't know exactly how that would work, but you know, you never know exactly what's going to happen in games like this. For the moment, I think we'll just upgrade a little bit of everything to test things out. It's worth noting that you can reset your skills, but it actually will sacrifice all your minions and restore the current wall's HP to full. So you can redo your build, but you'll also have to kind of start over on that wall. Not really a big deal in the beginning, but if you are close to actually killing a wall later on, I assume this will slow down, of course, significantly. It's an incremental game after all. Then you don't want to do that halfway into the destruction of a wall, I think. Anyway, we just got a few more skills, and Bonesley is back. 1000 pardons, your grace. I've discovered a small side quest to start the quest here. Go forth into the world to perform heroic feats of courage and daring do. You can earn items or souls from completing these side quests. Okay, well that sounds not that bad. Do we need to upgrade our skill points before we do that? I don't know, but let's find out. Okay, side quest, find the duck. A nearby town's unofficial mascot duck has gone missing. We can either inquire or we can interrogate. Which raises the question, are we like the good guy or the bad guy? I mean, inquire is definitely a lot cheaper. I feel like we're playing the bad guy today, so let's save up some mana and let's go interrogate them. Okay, so that should do that. Let's interrogate. Takes a little moment, and in the meanwhile, by the way, the quest is just the wall, I should say, is still progressing while we're doing the side quest, so that's good. We have a 13% quest progress. Okay. Word around town is that the duck was headed towards the river. We can either have breakfast or we can go and investigate once more. We have no time to waste. Let's go investigate straight away. I got some more focus spells, so I have plenty of mana now, so let's go investigate that. We're heading off towards the river immediately. Quest progression is ticking up once more. The third wall, I think this is. Yep, it's the third wall, is close to going down as well. What are these things? Actually, that's probably skill points. So if we take down this wall, we should get 2 more skill points. That's how that works, I guess. The poison is not doing that much. The skeletons, on the other hand, are doing quite a bit of damage there. But anyway, on the river's edge, you can see duck tracks that lead toward the water. We can enhance, or we can go with our intuition. Let's go with the cheaper option this time around. Let's enhance the duck tracks images in the lab. In the lab, really? We're taking the... Well, I guess it makes sense. I am not entirely sure what we're doing. But sure, let's get some more focus in the meanwhile. More mana is probably never a bad idea. Okay, so we deduct that the duck has entered the river. Wow. So we can wait there or we can dive straight in. Well, diving into the river when we're chasing a duck doesn't really make a lot of sense, I guess. So we're just going to go wading in slowly deep into the freezing water. Well, then I'm really happy that we didn't dove in, because that would probably be a bad thing if that thing is freezing. In the meanwhile, let's see. We could do some more upgrading of the skeletons or the archers, or I don't know what's good here. Let's just pick a little bit of everything. How many of those goblins do we actually have? Just 3? We can probably get a few more of those as well. There we go. Just to have the chipping away on the wall go a little bit quicker. Now, in the meanwhile, we are underwater. Lack of oxygen quickly becomes an issue. Wait, what? Did we just sink down? Let's conjure oxygen directly into the lungs. Well, I know, we're a magician. That probably is something we could do. Seems dangerous to me though, but yeah, deep underwater, the duck's trail is going cold. Well, we are all-knowing, of course. I keep going for the more expensive option. I have no idea what the difference is between those things, but we are now generating a field of awareness that encompasses the river. Sounds pretty good. The duck has been sighted, dead ahead. Well, obviously we are going to subdue it, but I'm going to need a bit more mana for that. Well, in the meanwhile, another wall went down, and we are now already on wall number 5. This is going a lot quicker than I expected, but I have a feeling again, this wall already has 15,000 hit points, and I'm just randomly clicking upgrades at this point. Mostly focusing on getting more mana, because we're spending quite a bit of mana actually on these side quests. I'm not focused at all on getting a larger army, so this is already really entertaining, just because I am mostly focused on the side quest, while usually you're just stuck doing the same thing over and over in the main quest in these types of games. But yeah, let's see how subduing the duck goes. We are incepting the idea of restful sleep into the duck's mind, so we're well, just telling it to fall asleep in the water? Sure. Look, is finally in hand. The townsfolk asks what shall become of it. We can roast it or knight it? Now I kind of want to know what happens when we knight it. Again, I'm just constantly going for the more expensive options, but roasting it sounds really evil. I'm feeling a little evil, like I said before. But knighting it, if there's going to be a night duck showing up here, I am going to be extremely happy. Probably not, but still. Okay, so I am now knighting a duck. The quest progress is hitting 100% soon. And arise their way, the uncooked hero of the town. Oh, the reward is a mana rock? Sure, what's a mana rock? Smashing work on that duck you graze. Really, really good. Try equipping your new item. Sure. So we have a mana rock, an ancient and rare mana stone that overflows with raw mana waiting to be tapped. Well, that is going to be a massive increase to my mana regeneration, almost doubling it, so that's nice, but yeah, no duck here, so we could have roasted it still. In the meanwhile, we actually got access to a couple more skills. We have Spear of Bone, buffs this Bone Spear Invocation spell. And we also have the Cultist, which charges up mana for release when they die or are sacrificed. So that sounds definitely like the evil way to go. I'm not entirely sure how this will work yet, but we'll find out. And then we have the Orb Fixation, another mana orb with greater intensity. Skill points increase mana generated per click. And we just got some more skill points. So let's see. We need to unlock level 8 in order to get more skills. Let's just do a Spear of Bone. Let's see how this works. Let's get some cult following, because that's never a bad idea. And the Orb Fixation. Yeah, now we get 2 mana per click. That's a pretty straightforward upgrade. Although I don't want to be clicking this too much, I don't think so. We'll find out if we actually need that. Maybe some more cultists? Yeah, why not? Oh, actually, I don't have any more skill points. We do actually get skill points halfway through a wall as well. So that's a nice, interesting mechanic, so that keeps things interesting while you're playing. Okay, so we actually have yet another side quest, and I'm keeping just being distracted by those side quests because I could just be building an army and plowing through a lot of walls. But yeah, let's see. We have a bone spear here that we can just shoot at the wall and do 30 damage. Oh, that sound. I was wondering for a moment what that was. This does not seem to be doing all that much, honestly. So let's see if I upgrade that. It will increase the damage, sure. But I'm actually kind of liking the fact that my skeletons are doing the work for me. So what I can do, just get some more souls and get some more skeletons and goblins and maybe some cultists as well, just to make sure we understand how those work. Okay, so I just hit down wall number 6, we're now on wall number 7, which is a perfect time to reset your skills at the beginning of a wall. I'm not really impressed so far with the Spear of Bone. Probably if you just max this out, it does a lot of stuff. But for now, I just want to focus, I think, on maybe skeletons. I'm not sure if there's a point in having a mix between 2 different types of enemies. Maybe there will be later, but for now, let's just focus on that, as well as some focus skills so we can focus on mana. And actually the cultists themselves give mana as well, so I'll show you that in a moment. Maybe 2 levels in here, because we don't want to click this too much, but we are going to need that a little bit, and then just spend the rest in skeletons. There we go, a nice little army of skeletons hacking away at the wall, and then we have the cultists not doing that much, but the nice thing about the cultists is they will charge up mana, so they're actually giving me a massive amount of additional mana, which is probably going to be useful for the quest. The very easy way is just to sacrifice them like this. The cultists die, I get a massive amount of mana, and then I just buy the cultists once more. You can just keep doing this over and over. They're just an extra mana battery, and well, sacrificing your cultists for mana gain sounds pretty evil to me. Okay, while the skeletons are doing their job, let's start another side quest. Rebel rousing, and the unruly mob have gathered around the Major's house. We are going to read their minds. That sounds like a thing an evil person would do, so I can just tell you exactly what you want to know. It's worth noting, by the way, we have damage multipliers, currently not doing much, but we also can see our damage per second, so you can actually kind of try to figure out what the best build is by resetting your skill points if you feel like whatever you're doing isn't working. Yeah, I only have 1 item. I can actually have 2 items, so this is not doing anything for the moment. But in the meanwhile, the mob are apparently angry about the recent increases in taxes. Well, of course, we are going to go with the pitchfork. I'm actually... Are we helping the people rebel against taxes, or are we trying to raise the pitchfork to them? Not entirely sure. Looking Ruffled, the mayor has come out to face the mob, so I think we're helping him. Well, let's boo the hell out of him. This seventh wall is going down pretty nicely as well. We are booing the major into oblivion, apparently. Okay. Crumpling under the pressure, the major has turned bright red. Well, of course, we're going to heckle him because we are that type of person today. Meanwhile, let's get some more mana regeneration going. And halfway through. Okay, now in a panic, the major is trying to escape. We are going to pelt him with rotten fruit, apparently, while we're breaking down another wall. I am going to buff my skeletons a little bit more. I'm actually going... Actually, hold on. Let's reset the skill. I am not using the whole clicky thingy anyway, but I am definitely using my cultist. So I am going to take a couple of levels in that, a couple of levels in that, and then the remaining levels in the passive mana regeneration. I think this makes sense, yeah. And then, of course, I do need to rebuy all my skeletons. How many souls do I still have left? We probably don't need that many cultists. Something like this. And that's a nice little balance between both the DPS and some mana gathering. Anyway, out of options, the mayor has surrendered unconditionally. We can have taxes or we can go taxless. So we don't want taxes at all, of course. We want freedom. We want total and utter freedom. Unsatisfied, the mob wants you to voice one more demand. Petticoats or porridge? Well, we want to look dashing, of course. We want petticoats. The negotiations are complete. What of the mob? We can disperse them or, well, disappear them. Teleporting the mob to a random location. Okay then. I honestly have no idea how these different questions affect what you get at the end of the quest. But anyway, the mob are nowhere to be seen. The reward is 10 souls. Nothing like an angry mob, right? You raise lovely work. Did I just summon the mob to my actual battlefield? And these 10 souls are now the mob? Well, anyway, that lets me make 10 more skeletons. I mean, I'm not complaining. We're getting a quite nice little army of skeletons at this point. And there we go, we have yet another wall down. And that means we are now at level 8. So I think that means, yep, there we go, we have some new spells. So we can unlock the Captain Summon spell. They have an Aura of Bravery, which increases the damage multiplier. Okay, so that's interesting. We have the Soul Exchange, unlocks and buffs the Soul Contract Augmentation spell. Okay, but not sure what that does. It allows the binding of a free market soul sourced from the Soul Exchange. Skill points reduce the cast costing of Soul Contract. Is that it's not the same thing as Enchained Soul, I guess. That might be worth picking just to find out what it does. So let's see. It's just another way to get a soul. Okay, so Enchained Soul means we get 1. This also means we get 1, but this is a lot cheaper since we haven't actually used it yet. So it's a way to buff our army, basically. And if we combine that with the Captain's Call, we can probably summon some more people. We also have Mana Amplification. Holding down your Mana Orb triggers Mana Amplification. Skill points increase the damage and Mana multiplier bonus for each stack of the Mana Amplification. Okay, so if we want to use the thing here more actively ourselves, we can buff our damage through that way. But yeah, I'm lazy. I like doing it passively, so let's get ourselves a couple of captains. Okay, so that's interesting. So even though the captains themselves, it's the blue dudes over here, don't seem to actually be doing any damage by themselves, because the damage so far is all coming from the minions, the skeletons. Even the fact that we just have 5 of these captains, as you can see, 5, does cost 15 souls, so keep that in mind as well. But it's almost doubled our DPS, so adding 5 more skeletons would just boost the damage by 10%. 5 captains boost it by 80%. So yeah, obviously better to get some captains involved at this point than more skeletons, but you do need to kind of balance those things out. So what do you say, time for another side quest? The Temple Dive. This old scroll spell you found suggests one of these temples as a treasure. We can have breakfast or we can prepare. We want to be prepared, of course. And We didn't get any items from the previous quest, did we? No, we did gain a spell point, so let's buff our captains a little bit. That should increase the damage multiplier they get, right? Yes, maybe? Shouldn't this then go up? Or did I just misread this? Skill points increase damage multiplier per captain. Yes. So this went from, I think it was 0.12, it went to 0.17 and nothing changed. Not entirely sure about that. Let's get... Oh, okay, so it does go up, it just didn't go up as much as I thought it would. Is that how that works? I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, as we are approaching the door, you notice it's unlocked by a mechanism. We can banter or we can analyze. I am, of course, going to be analyzing that. How many of these quests we get? I have no idea. I do have a feeling we should probably keep doing them whenever they pop up, because they do give us quite useful things, and it will help us progress even faster. A trap suddenly triggers launching a poison dart in your direction. We are of course going to grab that thing and throw it right back at whatever enemy is haunting us. That was close. Now for the entrance door. We can either button or blood it. Oh, we're doing it with blood sacrifice. I'm not entirely sure how that will open the door, but it seems like the evil thing to do, and I'm sticking with the theme. The portal opens, revealing a long, dark staircase, so we can saturate that by glowing up ourselves. Interesting. With the way lit, you forge deeper into the depths. We can amble or we can run. Well, let's just take our casual stroll into the temple depths while we also keep upgrading our mana regeneration and things like that. I keep forgetting to kind of sacrifice my cultists and then rebuy them. But it does give me quite a bit of mana, as you can see. Finally, the treasure can be seen on a conspicuous pedestal. We can either switch or we can take it. We are going to be smart. We're going to switch it Indiana Jones style with a weight-matched bag of sand, because you know that worked so well for Indiana Jones. Click! Despite your efforts, a massive boulder rolls toward you. Yeah, well, we were going Indiana Jones style anyway, so let's whip right out of its path. We're throwing the whip at the boulder, slowing it down enough to escape. That works? Well, anyway, apparently it does, because we are now awarded with a gnarled staff. In and out like it was nothing, as expected, your grace. Okay, so we have a gnarled staff. What does that do? We have a mana multiplier times 0.5. So we are now generating about 250 per second. So this mean we go up to 300 plus? I guess it does. That's quite nice, and we also just got down another wall. I think it's time to spend some more skill points into upgrading our skeletons over here. There's a maximum skill level actually, so at some point we'll have to deviate and combine different things. Yeah, this is still useful. We are still using the cults to gain even more mana and to make sure we can keep upgrading things, so that's always useful. These upgrades seem to be permanent, so like these souls and things like that, we are just sacrificing our cultists, getting a lot of mana, buying them back. Now the buying back doesn't really cost anything, so this seems like kind of a loophole to get a lot of extra mana to get whatever upgrades we need. And then we just sacrifice our cultists again, and we rebuy them. And we net quite a bit of mana out of that. Now the cultists do need to kind of charge up, so it's not like instant generation, but it's a significant mana regeneration considering every cultist charges 22 mana per second. We have 16 of them, so that is almost 500 mana per second, which is more than we're generating ourselves. Okay, so here's an idea. What if I just sacrifice all my skeletons and captains and buy all the cultists I can get, and then kind of sack them all afterwards? And look at that mana gathering up. Now I do have to say the cultists do become quite expensive at some point, so I'm not entirely sure if this is the optimal approach, but it is definitely an interesting approach. Well, even though we're gaining a substantial amount of money, I think just sitting around waiting for this mana to generate and then just keep doing this over and over again might not even be the worst thing in the world to do, but it is kind of boring. So I'm just going to go and sacrifice all my cultists once again and get myself a whole buttload of mana. But the nice thing is, because of all of this, I am now able to buy Enlightenment, which will give us a new ability called Meditate. Alrighty, so I spent some of the money to put our army back in business, so we have our skeletons and captains are running around again. Still a couple of cultists. I do think it makes sense for the extra mana regeneration. But let's see, meditate. Meditating clears and strengthens the mind, enhancing your focus. Casting meditate increases mana generation from focus. And it's really cheap to do so. Right now we have 0%. Oh, this is already doubling our mana regeneration right there. So let's just spend a whole bunch of mana upgrading this so we get a massive amount of mana back in return passively. We are now up to 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Yeah, we are getting a lot of mana per second now. And there goes yet another wall. And that gives us another 2 skill points. Let's see, does this bring us to a new tier yet? We are now... No, we need one more to get access to new spells. But we did get yet another side quest. Oh, we do have 2 spell points though to spend. Yeah, I mean, getting these on the soul exchange might be useful. We do only get a minus 2% reduction. Not sure if that's worth it just yet though. Maybe upgrading our cultists and captains a little bit further, and then we should probably focus once again on getting some more damage. However, in the meanwhile, let's start saving up some money to get Awakening. It's 500k, but it will give us yet another spell. And of course, in the meanwhile, we're going to do that by sacrificing some cultists while we start our side quest. Reports are coming in of an ogre on a rampage. Well, we can take brunch, or we can, I don't know, sit on the bench, I guess. Let's have brunch. New report. The ogre has been spotted in the hill region. Let's peer into the orb of seeing. True enough, it's on our rampage, smashing up a village. We can cart there, we can teleport, and well, we go in style, of course. And we are already up to 300 mana, so let's sacrifice some more cultists and let's rebuy them. There we go, that was a nice little bump. Okay, so the ogre is shocked by your appearance. Catch the phrase time. That's wisecrack or boast. Let's do the wisecracking thing. Again, still really curious whether to see if I would redo that quest, if I would get a different reward. Probably not, but who knows. Your words have little effect. Ogre punch incoming. We are of course going to deftly parry that. It's also worth noting that this wall is starting to look different. It's a little bit more impressive, I guess, than the initial walls we had. Let's see. Oh, it looks like you have an opening. We can distract or we can discombobulate. Let's go complete Sherlock Holmes style. And clapping the ogre's ears. Nice. Okay, let's see. We're already 3/4 through the quest, so it worked. What's the follow-up? More discombobulate. That's a hard word to pronounce. The beast has been thoroughly defeated. What now? We can apologize or we can... Let's just keep going, of course. Completely discombobulated. This ogre won't rampage again. 20 souls. Well, that's actually quite substantial. You need to teach me some of those moves, Your Grace, huh? It does feel like if we would have gone for different options, we might have gotten a different reward instead. Because, of course, we pretty much just killed it, just like we teleported the mob to our battlefield. I still think that's what happened. But souls are honestly quite valuable. I mean, just getting 10 free uses, basically, of a spell like this is very substantial. However, we also just got the 500k we needed for Awakening. So let's get that. We can heighten our senses, increasing your minion's capacity for battle. Casting Heighten increases melee minion damage, and so happens that we mostly have melee minions, so that's kind of nice. Well, there goes yet another wall, and I was able to heighten my senses up to 260%, so this is almost tripling my damage now, on top of the damage multiplier that we're getting from the captain. So I think the multiplier on the multiplier, as you can see, we're doing quite a lot of damage to this new wall already, so this is not going to hold out for very long at all. And that was the 12th wall, so let's see, we now have 3 more spells. We have Pyromancy, unlocks and buffs the Fireball Invocation spell. So we can start throwing fireballs at the enemy. Okay, interesting. What else? So we have the Mind Sphere. Create a sturdy sphere of mental energy that enhances mana collection. So this will increase this multiplier over here. Could be useful. And then we have the Mage Guild, unlocks the Mage Summon spell. Mages gather up balls of mana from the other side and fling them to your mana orb. Okay, sure. And those will generate 25% mana per second, which is actually the same as the cultists already do. I'm just gonna check this out though. So the cultists Do they have a limit actually on how much they charge up? They're still going, even though, well, I have quite a few cults now, I have 30 of them. But they do seem to not cap out all that quickly. So it seems to me that even though the mages are kind of nice and chill because they are passive, well, actually no. As you can see, the mages actually only cost one soul. I thought it was 3, I just misread this. So in that case, we can just get the mages rather than the cultists, so we don't have to bother with the sacrificing. I mean, the mages are a little bit more expensive, but overall the cultists are, of course, also expensive because we need to keep rebuying them every time we sacrifice them. Okay, there goes yet another wall, and I think that's a perfect moment to kind of reconsider what we're doing with our skills. I don't know, it's fun trying out new builds, so I now have a level 5 mages, so we can get a couple of those, each generating 35 mana per second. I also have the Mind Sphere, which is going to make sure the mana multiplier is up to 2.5, so that's quite nice. Then I actually got a couple of levels in Soul Exchange, so I can get some cheaper souls. Still not entirely sure if this is worth it, but yeah, let's stick with it for now though. And it actually retained the levels of soul contract that I had, so I'm actually wondering now if I can just dump all my points into this, get a lot of soul contracts with the mana I have, and then just get out of it again. Does that work? Actually, let me test that out. Okay, so here we go. I just got the maximum level of soul exchange, dropping down the soul contract mana by a lot. And I combined that with Mind Sphere just to get the multiplier as high as I can to get massive passive mana over here. Then I can just dub everything in here and get this all the way up to 91k, so this is pretty expensive at this point. I am now going to reset my skills and rebuy 1 level of this. And Soul Contract is still at 36, so it's a lot more expensive now, obviously, but is this kind of cheating the system? Maybe, not entirely sure. But yeah, let's go back to the original build. Alrighty, there we go. We now have 15 mages flying around here, or well, hovering around or walking around. Not sure what they're doing, but they're giving me a lot of mana at least. We have 75 skeletons hacking away at the wall. They do a pretty good job at that, as you can see. It's going down pretty quickly. And we are also combining that with 10 captains because that's getting us that multiplier over here. Now, actually, if you hold down this thing and you charge it up all the way to the max, you get 2 things. So first of all, you get a temporary bonus, which gives you a damage multiplier and a mana multiplier. But on top of that, you do get a chance to actually crack your mana sphere. Now, when that happens, that's not the end of the world, but let me see if I can trigger it. You can just keep going and charge it up further and further, and the chance of breaking it does go up as well, of course. But so far so good. We actually have quite a nice damage and mana multiplier going now. And it's just gotten even better. I'm trying to show you what happens when you crack this thing, but so far it's not cracking, even though I have a pretty high chance of doing so. I'm liking the multiplier though. Oh, there we go. So we just broke it, we can't click it for a little while. We still gain the mana and things like that, so it's not the end of the world, but yeah, no non-stop free bonuses for us right there. Wall number 14 down, and we have yet another side quest. An ominous and mysterious tower appeared in a nearby field. We can instigate. Instigate? How is that what you do to a tower? Oh, anyway. Or we can go for the artillery. That sounds like the obvious thing to do. Physical attacks seem to have no effect, so we can either... Well, we just fired mana artillery at it. Does that count as a physical attack? No. Anyway, it has no effect. We can knock or we can speak. Let's speak in the tongue of magical structures. The faint outline of an entrance is visible on one side of the tower. We can either push or pull. Let's push. The magical surface will not yield, perhaps from beneath. We can dig or we can topple. Well, I think we're going to do the toppling thing. As expected, the underside is compromised of regular stone. We can either do something with the goblin or fireball it. Well, let's fireball it. A piercing shriek can be heard. It's a mandrake alarm. Now we're in Harry Potter, apparently. We can either wait or we can deactivate it. Well, we are smart cookies, right? So we can go and deactivate it by depositing magical soil. In the meanwhile, we just took down another wall, and this wall seems to have something special going. It has a wall modifier. It is actually killing our enemies, so it is actually trying to start the fight back now. It's going to target melee minions first, then range minions, then support minions. It's going to kill 10 minions per minute. Okay. There we go. I think we just lost a minion, so we just lost a skeleton. And we can just buy it back. I mean, that's not a problem. But we do need to keep an eye on our army now to make sure that we don't lose too many of them. Meanwhile, let's see what our quest wants us to do. This place must be a treasure hoard now to find the loot. We can go for the beast or we can go for the knees. Knees it is. Infusing mana into your knees, quickening this treasure search. So the beast would have been using magical beasts to find the treasure. That's actually kind of original there. You find the treasure box and identify the final death traps. We can defend or we can strike. We are evil, we're going to strike, uttering a word of power to transmit the security system to dust. The tower has been rendered inert and the treasure secured. Huzzah! Reward, Boning Wand. Now, what does that do? Let's see. Boning Wand. This ornate wand is crafted from a lot of types of exotic bone by expert bonesmith. So it's actually going to level my bone spear spell. So that's the spell we haven't actually used so far. But it increases the cap by 5. So that's interesting. So we have the Spear of Bone here. And we could then get that all the way up to level 25 if that's what we want to do. I think I'll just stick with what we have for now. And make sure we increase the damage on our skeletons just a little bit. And of course I do need to make sure I keep my skeleton army intact. Oh look, I saved up enough mana now for the Epiphany, and that gives us yet another skill. We got access to... wait, hold on. Soul Fusion, that's a different spell. Did you know that several animal souls can be fused into a base soul? Neat. I did not know this actually, but this is a very cheap way of gaining ourselves quite a lot more people for our army, so we can grow our little skeleton army quite a bit more. We should probably also get some of these captains to get that damage multiplier up as high as we can get it. What are we limited on? Oh, we are limited on souls. Okay, so we are now up to 25k damage per second. We do need to do actual 55 million damage, so the damage is ramping up quite quickly over here as well. But we are still making some visible progress, and we are not doing all that bad, I think. I am also kind of just being cheap here, and I haven't really upgraded my normal upgrades here and things like that, so there's probably a couple of easy ways that I can get myself some more skeletons and captains as well. Well, there goes yet another wall, and that means we get some new spells, I think, as well. Let's check out the new wall. Is there any special modifiers in here? Not that I can see. This is just skill points. The damage is still very noticeable, though. Minions and abilities that automatically summon are active. What does that mean? I have no idea. Did we just get new things that will summon things? Unlocks and buffs the Skeleton Noble summon spell. The Skeleton Noble's magnified presence will automatically summon lesser skeletons to your cause. Skill points increase skeleton summon rate. So this is actually going to summon 5 skeletons per minute per noble. That is interesting. And the Skeleton Noble is actually just 1. Now I'm kind of curious. If I get one of these, and I don't want to reset my skills. Where are you? Over here. So we have 4 souls available now. Does it use the souls we already have to summon these things? Or... yeah, it does. So actually that's really nice. So we now have an automatic way to replenish our fallen soldiers, so to speak, just by getting a couple of these things in place. I know, I can just do that myself. I am extremely lazy, you know that by now. I'm just trying to optimize my gameplay, maybe optimize the fun out of it, because actually doing it actively is kind of fun as well, but still. What else do we have? We have Incineration. Incinerate Incantation spell. Baths the fall in Conjured Fire, increasing the damage multiplier. Okay, increasing the damage multiplier, that's interesting. Skill points increase damage multiplier buff and mana cost. And we can only have 1 incantation spell active at the same time. Damage multiplier plus 4? Well, just getting a single level in this sounds very much worth it. Let's incinerate, let's activate that. Look, the wall is on fire now, and we just doubled our damage, basically. Yeah, I'm pretty safe to say that's worth it. Maybe getting a few more levels in this might be worth it as well, but let's check out what the Poison Dagger does. It's an invocation spell, applies the poison modifier. Poison deals damage each second and wears off over time. All of that sounds like a lot of work though, and I kind of like the setup I have going. However, keep in mind that you can go for quite a different build. You can maybe use some of these Goblin Archers instead, or do something with all of these different spells that I have been kind of ignoring so far. There is the item that I got that will increase the Bone Spear. There might be other items in the game as well, I actually don't know. And of course there's more side quests to explore that might give us even more items on top of that. All in all, this game is not that complicated. It is very chill and relaxing, if that's something you're looking for, just to kind of chill out in a game and have something not too complicated but still make you feel like you're making quite a bit of progress. And this is a game I can highly recommend. But that is it for now. If you want to explore this game, I highly recommend that you do so while you enjoy my 18th wall going up in flames over here. If you're still here, you are awesome, and I do hope to catch you in the next one.